I also wonder whether this is something where the regulator actually needs more powers of intervention when it becomes evident that companies are not meeting their obligations under a code of practice. To give you an example from a different industry in the UK, energy will illustrate the sort of thing I've got in mind. When full competition was introduced into energy in the UK, one of the ways that companies increased their market share is they sent people around to do doorstep selling. So you'd get a knock on your door, somebody would say, "Would you like to switch your energy supplier?" To which you'd say, probably, "No, I want to go and cook my dinner, please." And then in the initial phase, they'd say, "Okay, that's fine. Could you just sign this bit of paper to prove that I've been to visit you and I'm meeting my targets?" And quite a lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, sure, sign." Off they go. And then discovered they'd switched their energy supplier. And this became a big deal. And eventually, the regulator knocked heads together and got the energy companies to sign up to an agreed code of practice, and it was a condition, and this was signing up to this code of practice was added as a condition to the license of the energy companies. And then the regulator was able, in a couple of cases, to take enforcement action against companies which hadn't complied with the code of practice, and actually fine them significant amounts of money for failing to comply with those obligations. And it looks to me that you need a system where that threat is actually a real one. If you've got companies that are not complying with the obligations for complaint handling or indeed customer protection. And it looks as well that probably there needs to be a bit more oversight of these obligations. And I just say that historically what happens with self-regulatory systems is when they don't deliver what they promise, governments step in and increase oversight, increase regulation. And this looks like it might work certainly as an election issue. As I gather that's on the horizon as well. So I'll just really end there, but just reiterate the last bullet point on this slide, which is really that the devil is in the detail with all complaint handling systems and customer service. It's not simply getting people to accept high-level principles, it's actually what you put in the rules and how you implement them that's important. And thanks for listening to me today.